Okay, so we're going to paint a lily-pilly tree today in soft pastel. I've left this silhouette empty on this otherwise finished painting so that I can hopefully demonstrate an easy way to paint foliage. It's a very dense, thick tree, so the best way to start it is with a nice dark value. I've opted for a dark eggplant sort of colour. That's my favourite way to start foliage, really. It just gives some really nice deep shadows for you to build up on. So all I'm going to do is think about the trunk and the branches coming off and work my way from kind of, if you think about it, the inside of the tree to the outside of the tree. So work your way up from the bottom. Obviously the shadows are going to be heaviest at the bottom where the light's not getting to, and in my reference photo the bottom of the tree was quite shaded. So I'm going to try and keep some random patterns happening, working from the middle of the tree out to the sides and making sure that the branches aren't too neat and even, because nature's never neat and even. So we're just going to work from the bottom to the top of the tree. This particular tree is quite thick foliage. You're not going to see sky poking through or much background. I've kept orange in the background because that's a nice foil for green. It helps keep the greens looking natural and kind of neutralises them a bit. So just working my way up to the top. Just kind of a scribbling motion. Try not to make it look too much like a Christmas tree or a pine tree, because it's not. It's a scruffy lily-pilly tree. Now I'm not going to colour in the lines. I've just left this silhouette, as I said before, to demonstrate this particular tree. So I'm going to go outside the lines with a few little escaped leaves. I'm going to switch to a nice warm olive green. That's going to be my dark mid-tone. So all I'm going to do is work from the bottom up the tree, and I'm going to work my way up in values, maybe using 3 to 4 different values. It doesn't matter if they're not green. It doesn't matter what colours you use, as long as you keep the values relevant to the tree. I'm not going to exactly follow all the shadow patterns. I want to leave some of the orange in the background. And the same sort of scribbling motion, really. Just working my way up, a few little popping out to the side, overlapping the picture of the house in the background, just to make it look natural. And also, as I just pointed out, I'm trying to match the colours up with the other tree. Obviously, the closer you get to the top of the tree, the more the light's going to penetrate, so not so much shadow. I'll save some spaces in there for the lighter greens. This particular green I'm using is very warm, and it also has some little flecks of darker green, almost black, mixed in with it, so it's quite a handy little pastel for painting foliage. Okay, here I've switched to slightly lighter, nice warm green. Always remember where the light's coming from. It's coming from the left, but also slightly from behind. The bottom of the tree in my references stayed in shadow, and I kind of like that, so I left it like that. So the leaves on the outside are going to pick up most of the sunlight and make a nice little frame for the entryway to the house, hopefully. Remember to use the side of the pastel and the pointy edges of the pastel as well. Twist it around and keep your strokes random. You don't want to have all the foliage looking exactly the same. It's quite a scruffy little tree. As you get towards the edges of the foliage, make sure that you have a few little flyaways. And always remember where the light's coming from. Remember to leave some of that orange in the background. Okay, I've switched to my lightest value pastel now, and this is really the most important part because you're picking out where the sunlight is hitting the tree, and this is what's going to decide whether your tree looks right or not. It's also going to help it look a lot more three-dimensional. That's all about working from the inside of the tree to the outside of the tree and thinking of it as a three-dimensional shape rather than on a flat piece of paper. And most of the light is going to be at the top of the tree. And when you keep the edges a bit softer around the outside of the tree, you can almost feel like there might be a little bit of a breeze moving the leaves around. Remember to stand back often and have a look from a distance so you get a better idea of what it really looks like. Sometimes you get up so close that you can't really see, you get lost in the details. Remember the flyaways. And just to help the trees look a bit more united, because I did do them on separate days, just go back and add some other of the greens to the other tree just to tie them in together. Okay, so now I'm just taking a nice blue violet. It's not a dark blue violet, it's more of a mid-dark, maybe even a mid-tone, just to lighten up some of the shadow areas a little bit, because shadow areas are never all just one dark blob of colour. If you look at a shadow, there's many different values in it. Blue's always a good colour. Blue violets, always good colours for shadows. Just kind of lightly tapping it all over, a few squiggles here and there. And because this is a lily-pilly tree, I'm going to add in some little tiny red berries and magenta berries, just to break it up, break up the greens a little bit, but also because it is a lily-pilly tree and they do have little red berries on them. Just here and there, not too many. Not just one red colour, red and magenta, a couple of different values is always a good idea. Just tiny little specks. And then I'm just going to freshen up the magenta that I used in the rest of the painting here and there, just to help tie the foreground into the background a little bit.